Hello and welcome to episode 162 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I'm Jeff Maya.
And Jeff, we have quite the surprise.
Yep.
What is it, Jeff? What are you holding there?
We got PS5, babe.
We got the PS5. Sony recognized that we are the biggest NAC fans in the world and went ahead and sent us this big, beautiful boy we have right here. Just look at him. Look at how big and beautiful it is.
I'm setting it up heavy. Darby, unfortunately, Sony only said they sent us one.
All right. Okay. All right.
I'm sorry.
We had the PS5, ladies and gentlemen.
And it was the only one to have Nactily on it.
Yeah, no, that's it, guys. That's it. That was your only chance. Your only chance. We were going to have the exclusive streaming rights for NAC 3. We paid to make sure that no one else ever got it.
Yeah.
And now no one will get it. So 2020, this is the worst thing to ever happen in 2020. Okay, that's done. Jeff, how you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. Feel pretty good. High energy. I'm ready. I'm ready for this podcast. I'm excited to hear about some cool stuff. Honestly, not a lot of news this week, but we're going to have a good time anyway. Hell yeah. You know what other day we're going to have a really good time?
Halloween.
All Hallows Eve. October 31st. Twitch.tv/NerdsAtLargeGaming. Me, that guy, and all of our internet friends, including Chad Michaelinas, Holden DePardo, Dallas. Oh wait, you were. I just acted like he was just on the show, but we just talked to him, but the people listening to this didn't. Dallas, Matt, Jerica, Kayla, Jacob, who's on the podcast all the time, Alex, all kinds of people. Who am I missing? Brent, Olivia.
Jerica's co-host, Kayla?
I think I said Kayla.
Okay, you did, sorry.
There you go. All those people are going to be on for an all-day stream starting at like 9 a.m. going until like the wee hours of the night. It's going to be crazy. We're going to play Among Us. We're going to play Ouija Mansion. Probably play some Pokemon with I made an all-ghost team for Halloween.
Yep, and you can look at the video where he drafts that team.
You can, which is very fun. Some oddball, like, unexpected choices, and then some very expected choices. But we're gonna play some Little Hope with like all of our friends online. Jackbox might be missing some games, but that's the main ones right there. And I'm excited. Are you excited?
Of course.
Hell yeah. That is twitch.tv/NerdsAtLargeGaming. A week from, under a week now. So this coming Saturday. So get ready. Go ahead and follow us on Twitch so you're ready and prepared. And we're both wearing cool costumes.
Who knows how long for mine? It gets hot.
Yeah, Jeff might be stripping his off immediately, but oh well. That being said, Jeff, are you ready for our opening game?
Oh god.
Where do you see yourself in 5 stars?
Oh fuck! I thought we were done.
No, Jeff. Remember I said that this week it's happening. So Jeff.
Oh no! He's bringing out the dice.
So Jeff, everyone knows you are Bowser's hiring manager, but that's old news. You've been using the metaverse and recruiting Bowser's army from all across the video game worlds. And you have your army. Your army consisted of the Slimes from Dragon Quest were your grunts. King Mickey from Kingdom Hearts was your war commander. The Great Fox from Star Fox was your battleship. Solid Snake from Metal Gear was your spy master. And most importantly, Cooking Mama was your army chef.
They're all around here.
Oh yeah, they're all in this room. Just trust us.
It started out well. I had them, but yeah.
So we're gonna figure out how this raid's going, how good this raid's going. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So first off, Cooking Mama obviously is going to try to cook a good meal to like keep everyone well, like well stocked up for this battle. And she did it. She barely did it.
Okay.
It wasn't her best work. It wasn't her best work, but the slimes, they're small.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to fill those boys up. So we're dealing with whatever the improved slimes are. Metal slimes? I don't know.
No, metal slimes, night slimes. You might have a couple king slimes in there.
Yeah, we got they've evolved past the base slime, so that's definitely going to help you. But Snake has also snuck into the palace or the whatever Peach's castle. We're gonna see how well he has sabotaged everything in there to make your entrance better. The defenses are down completely.
Yeah,
completely down. They are completely unaware this is happening.
Thanks, Snake.
King Mickey is going to charge through the gates with his slimes. Let's see how that goes. Crushes it.
Fuck yeah.
Drawbridge knocked down. The toads aren't even all awake yet. They don't even know what's going on. You've infiltrated the castle. The Great Fox is going to try to fire down. Does the Great Fox have lasers?
Of course.
Okay. Which, probably
fake gamer here.
All right, with everything else that's gone right, I'll give that one to you. The Great Fox is starting to pulverize this castle. Yeah, so I didn't expect all that to go so great. So you've infiltrated. Everything has gone completely according to plan. You now have the plumber completely dead to rights. You have Princess Peach in your grasp. What are you gonna do? Are you just gonna kill him? Are you taking them back? Like what is the end goal here? Because we've never seen Bowser actually succeed. Bowser's actually succeeding now. What does Bowser do when he succeeds?
Okay, so because he never see Bowser's very confused.
Okay,
he doesn't know what to do. So he just hands everyone cash and just leaves.
Okay,
Give everyone cash for a job well done and just leaves. Because he doesn't know what to do at this point. He never thought he'd make it this far.
He's like it's like Joker and Batman. Like he can't live without the chase. Yeah. Like he has to. Yeah. He was gonna kill Mario, but then he's like, but then his life will have no meaning.
Yeah.
So y'all just walk out.
Yep.
Just walks out. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Everyone's preparing for the next game.
You heard it there first. That is what Bowser needed to succeed, was the slimes, King Mickey, Great Fox, Snake, and Cookie Mama. But even with success, Bowser can't do it.
He doesn't feel fulfilled.
He doesn't feel fulfilled. He can never be satisfied. And thus ends the best podcast game to ever exist in any gaming podcast. You're welcome.
What an ending.
I expected it to be like you to miss some check. But you just succeeded every check. There was no drama.
I thought it was going to go horribly wrong considering how my rolls usually go in D&D.
No, you nailed every single roll.
Fuck
The
yeah.
lowest roll you made was the 10, but that was after like Cookie Mama did a really good job. So
fuck yeah.
All right. Apparently, being Bowser's henchman is Jeff's calling. Jeff, what you been playing this week?
Not too much as far as new stuff to actually really talk about, except for I played a demo of a game that has yet to be released.
You got the exclusive rights?
Yes, exclusive rights to Cyberpunk. No. I played Immortals Fenyx Rising, and what I played it on is a little thing called Stadia.
Can you call it a thing when it's not a physical thing? It's like...
Fuck you, yeah.
Yeah, so you played it on Stadia, I'm guessing on this laptop right here?
Yep, this one right here.
How did that go? Like, tell me the Google Stadia side of this first. How did this... And then we'll get into the actual game.
Yeah, so I clicked on a link. I think it was AlphaRad post. It's like, okay, this is where it is. Because I guess he's just doing a little sponsorship thing from them. And it's like, go here. Just go straight to the demo. I was like, okay. Click on that. Go to the page for the demo. Click on start. And the game just popped up.
Right.
And the loading screen, whatever. Start screen, did on that, and I was just cutscene started. I was in the game pretty quick.
That is pretty cool. Not having to download the whole game, stuff like that.
Yeah, not having to download that demo.
How did it run once you were in there?
Overall, I think it ran pretty good. I'm not sure how visually, just because I don't think Immortals is a very taxing game overall. Not like too much, too much usually going on as far as like the environment in general. So I don't know if like it was like missing any details or things. I didn't really think about it like maybe comparing it or whatever. No, I mean, it didn't like seem bad.
Yeah. But you weren't like stopping and starting and framey and stuff.
Got a little bit of that. For the most part, it did well.
Yeah.
It maybe a little bit of some slight framiness during big combat things, but there are definitely times where just kind of randomly. I think it was mainly when I was sprinting in the game, not necessarily when enemies were around or anything. It would just freeze for a second and then just kind of skip. A point. So I'm just freeze for a second, and then I'm like, I don't know, 10 feet away from where I was or something. And then it took a second for me to gain control back. Yeah. That happened a couple times in my hour-ish playthrough.
Okay. And you were on Wi-Fi, right? Yeah. You don't even have a thing on your computer. Just make sure for people to know.
Yeah.
Okay, but overall, could you see yourself playing games like that?
It's not my preferred method, but I feel better if they're just Stadia exclusive games I want to play.
Yeah.
But I'm not planning
still not gonna buy Stadia games.
No. I'm not planning on Stadia being my one way to play any game where I can get it somewhere else. But if somehow, if we get to a point where Stadia is still around and releasing exclusive games, I'd be like, okay. I'd be kind of more okay at this point to just play those.
Again, if they ever,
because I tried it, I'm like, okay, I'm confident enough I can at least play the game, even if there are a couple hiccups. And that was me playing it in my room, where, as we learned from online games, can be a little hit or miss sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes I have to come in here where our router is.
Yeah. Which if Stadia would ever add that download option, it would just be golden.
Yep.
But like I guess we're probably gonna talk about at some point if Stadia becomes a place where a bunch of demos go. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a conversation I do want to have. I don't know if we want to do that right now before going into Immortals or what.
No, let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the actual game. How was the actual game? Because this is a game that me and you both were, I think, a little surprised by how much we were like, how interested we were in wanting to play it soon. Unfortunately, it's coming out in a crowded time. But I think me and you both were like, thought this looked like there was a lot of talk about it being, just a Breath of the Wild clone. At least from looking at other people playing it, I thought it had enough separating it apart. How does it feel actually having it in your hands?
Yeah, so as far as the way the demo was actually doing, it's different from what the, I guess, media influencers, whatever you want to call them, wherever people got to play it earlier this year. What they got to do, because I think they actually, I don't know if it was the very beginning of the game, but they were actually playing the main game in some sections of that. This is an obvious, hey, this island, these two islands are completely separated from the rest of the main map. This is obviously just made for... made its way for the sake of the demo. So just its own little island to give you some stuff to do to get an idea of what's going on. It starts with Prometheus, I think, and Zeus talking. Kind of doing some quips. Prometheus is a smart guy trapped in a tree, and Zeus is kind of a silly guy or whatever. And the whole game is pretty much them narrating the story, because there's times where they're kind of debating things, like an enemy pops up and they're kind of saying what the enemy was. I can't remember what they started with. They're like, Zeus like, it's actually Cerberus, and it's like, Pervy's like, no, it wasn't. Like, okay, fine. It was 3 chickens.
And it actually changes in front of
it changes as it goes on. That was a nice silly thing. I've seen some people just really not like that, and just the kind of thing. Like, I get this thing is kind of hit and miss. I kind of enjoyed it. It got some chuckles out of me, and it just, especially with the way the art style is and everything, it obviously sets apart from Breath of the Wild. Just a fun little thing to. I think we'll have to see how it does in the regular game. I think it kind of works to kind of have that kind of thing going on with this, the way that this kind of narrative is. The way it's just kind of a story being told. It can make sense from having them like narrate, especially if you're going around a bunch of different places and all that.
Yeah, and I think the like cheeky, lighthearted, not taking itself too seriously will actually be a way for this game's story to like stick with you and stand out in your mind, because it'll be like a pleasant experience. Because I feel like just looking at this game, it was kind of a lower budget, kind of like on the surface more generic looking game. I think if they try to just tell like a serious story, it would just kind of blend in, and you just wouldn't really care. But it could still be a good game or whatever. But I feel like that actually kind of sets it apart, because we have enough kind of generic serious fantasy, you know what I mean? Like that's, I think whenever I'm seeing things like that, like, yeah, I'm sure a lot of the jokes it's probably going to be one of those where they tell a bunch of jokes and like about 30% of them hit, which is fine. It's like those 30% will be good, the rest of them are like, okay, it's like I think that vibe will suit it better in the long run. I think
so too. As far as the gameplay of it, like obviously the comparisons of Breath of the Wild, I think overall, just again, me playing a little slice of an island is definitely different. Like as far as environments, there's already kind of some variety there as far as what you're doing. Like Breath of the Wild, and I love it for this, kind of like a wasteland for a lot of things, or just grasslands or whatever the location is. This kind of had more like kind of buildings and all that kind of stuff, or like ruins or something around, temples or whatever. It's kind of give a little more something different to the setting compared to Breath of the Wild. And some comparisons definitely to Breath of the Wild is you quickly get your wings that we've seen that work as the glider, and those work a little different. You can speed up to go to fly things faster. You can dive really quick and all that kind of stuff. Use a bunch of different things with that. A big difference is combat, just like we get an Impact. The other game that reminds me of Breath of the Wild recently, combat is a bigger focus. I don't know how much stuff you get throughout the whole game, but as far as what weapons I had, you start out with like sword and an axe. Sword's usually for the quicker, lighter attacks, axe for the big, heavy attacks and all that kind of stuff. You got different abilities, like they have a little recharge timer thing. You can do a big hammer smash thing, or as we saw in trailers, you can have the spikes come out of the ground and it puts people there, and you can do air combos and all that. And as the demo was going on, especially at the end, I was kind of getting the flow of that better and all that, because I know there's other games too. It's nothing I'm as used to. The light and heavy attack button was R1 and R2, which was getting me a little bit, and dodge was like square or the equivalent of square, because I was playing on the Xbox controller.
That is interesting.
So that just took me a little bit to get used to, but I was getting it towards the end and doing some fun stuff with it. Nice. The combat is fun and pretty free flowing.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of the moves like comboed together. Yeah, like pleasingly.
And I think this is a good demo because it doesn't give away everything, but it gives you a little taste. It got a little taste of maybe some of the puzzles that were going on. Some of it, like one of them was you had a little, I guess a little thing with a bunch of holes in it with big stone balls, and just a little map thing on the sides, like, here's where you got to put the balls, and you just go around and find them or whatever, and use your magnesis to carry them, and you got different challenges to get the balls from the location and little stuff like that. And I saw the little arrow challenge thing that seems to be prevalent in this game, because you can fire arrows normally, and I guess something that's kind of nice about this, so you just don't have to worry about it. You have a limited amount of arrows, but it recharges instead of you having to like kill enemies or find them in chests or something. Yeah, there's like energy arrow type things. But you can do one type of arrow where you are controlling it. You're like a first person ish or third person ish view on the arrow, and you can kind of move it around like through little holes to get it to a certain place. Yeah,
kind of seems like it's the sequel to the Hawk or whatever you had in Assassin's Creed, because it's made by the same people. It made Odyssey, having that scouting thing.
So could do that. Kind of neat. I can see, and we saw a little bit of in trailers how the little extra dimensional room puzzle things, how some of that can get crazier.
Yeah. So is that what you were doing? Like basically the shrine equivalent?
I didn't do the shrine equivalent, but it was just more they were doing a little little tease, like, okay, here's the kind of puzzles you would probably see, I guess, in the world and in those shrine equivalents.
So it really was like tutorial island, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. Learning about the thing, and what's kind of nice is it was a pretty. They gave you objectives, but you can go all around the island. So that's pretty much what I did. Is went to all the different places and seeing what was going on and all that kind of stuff. Climbing seems to be pretty generous. Obviously, you need to have the stamina to climb. But it seems to, more so than Breath of the Wild, pretty generous as far as being able to find a little place on the side of the cliff to kind of, you can technically stand on and it recharges your stamina.
Yeah.
I also think that's pretty neat. I think in it, they do have different stats as far as defense and offense and stuff, but at least the weapons and armor that I got during this demo, I think they were pretty similar in power, but they had different effects. Like, the default stuff was, I think, pretty much all with the axe and sword, at least. Like, these are stronger, like 25% stronger when you're at full health. And then stuff, you pretty much got like one different thing for every armor or weapon piece from treasure stuff. But they had effects like this is stronger in the air when you do air combos and stuff like that. Okay, so you can kind of potentially use the different equipment to tailor your playstyle.
Yeah, it's more customization than something like Breath of the Wild 2. It seems like it's just, again, it's more focused on, like, I'm sure the combat's going to be overall harder and more like just complex because of that. But then it sounds like things like mobility, it sounds like you're pretty mobile from the get-go in this one, whereas Breath of the Wild was more about like the slowly climbing up, slowly building your character up.
Trying to think, a lot of collectibles and stuff. I saw a little kind of like with Breath of the Wild so far. Again, this is a little demo island, so they want to show you the best part of this stuff, but there were a couple places that are kind of fall off, like an island or the top of a statue. It's like, there's something up there. And I went and I did that, and there was always something like a treasure chest with either like a weapon or a set or a crystal thing, which says you can use this to increase your max health. So stuff like that. It's like, okay, so again, one of those games kind of rewards exploration.
Nice.
And trying to think if there's anything else. It's the main stuff about it. I really enjoyed my time with it. I'm excited to hopefully eventually get to the main game. It's just like you said, the timing of it is not the best.
This is a rough timing, but it does look good. I wonder how this is going to be received / commercially, like how it sells.
So I think something that would definitely help is the fact this is immediately coming to Switch.
Yeah. Very big for it.
Like, we've talked about, and I said if it looks good and runs well on Switch, that's probably where I'm just going to get it. Because especially with Switch's not a powerhouse and everything, but Breath of the Wild and stuff runs on there. I don't remember seeing much in my playthrough that's like, I don't see why this wouldn't necessarily run real Switch. They may have to lower some graphical settings just slightly, but I don't see anything too crazy.
Yeah.
To where it couldn't.
From what I've seen, I agree. I'll definitely see what people say, but
that's kind of like a thing. Like, I'm not worrying about getting it right away. It's like, okay, we can see.
Yes, it won't be until spring next year probably before I'd be able to play this, because obviously Cyberpunk and also Miles Morales are both above this for me. In the priority list. I don't know if there's anything else this fall that I'm like super duper on the edge of my seat for, but those two alone.
Well, considering about the only one that I know I'm definitely getting besides the two user named as Hyrule Warriors, probably not for you.
Probably not.
And even then, it's like there are other games I'm like tempted to like maybe get is this and Watch Dogs are the ones I'm just mainly looking at.
Yeah,
and maybe odds are what I'll do is try to fit in the medium if I have time, because that's on Game Pass and that's just a different kind of game.
Forgot that's on Game Pass. Forgot about that. That's big.
Yep, that's the only reason I'm mentioning it. Yeah.
To maybe actually play it. Yeah.
Because I really want to play that game.
Cool.
So I did want to bring up one thing just because you mentioned something about the demos, and I think Easy Allies brought it up that I think was a good conversation thing about this kind of demo and why is this a Stadia only thing. Besides potentially the marketing thing, I think it was Daniel Bloodworth from Easy Allies brought up a good point. With this kind of thing where you're just streaming it, no data mining. People can play this stuff.
That's true.
I mean, this is a very easy thing to really do. Like, you don't need to pay for it or anything. You just gotta have a decent PC, which I know, may not be hard for people with decent internet. But as far as people might be really interested in and have the means for that, not a bad way to get it out there to the public and stuff. Because a big thing is data mining is obviously a big thing.
Yeah, especially if it's going to be this, or you're just not going to... If you can't convince your studio heads to release a demo because they might be data mined. If it's this or nothing, then that works.
And also, it's kind of like a more controlled thing because a lot of I guess you can kind of do this, but you download a demo, people can just kind of keep that because it's a streaming thing. This thing is going to end Thursday-ish, and it's just going to be cut off. And
also just convenience, because you might be more willing to jump into a demo if you didn't have to download anything. It can just be an impulse decision at 9 p.m. You can see there's a demo and be like, okay, let me just tab over here and check it out, instead of let me download this whole, because if it's something you're vaguely interested in, it's like, I don't feel like making room for it on my PlayStation,
So I can definitely see people some studios going more this route for.
I honestly didn't think about the whole data mining thing. That wasn't even what I was thinking about. But that's a good point. That's definitely a good point.
I'd be okay. Again, I don't plan on using Stadia for much besides maybe if it's an exclusive game I'm interested in. But I definitely pop in there. I mean, he gets no money for Google, but if they have more demos like this, I jump in.
Stadia becomes the demo machine. It doesn't really help them at all.
Do a Watch Dogs demo, Ubisoft. Do it, you cowards. Though that comes out in a couple days.
You just put all demos on Stadia, and that's just Stadia's purpose. That's fine.
I forget Watch Dogs comes out this week.
I think a lot of people do, which is maybe concerning.
I'm hoping the excitement gets more when I can't remember what day the reviews drop in, if they're good, of course.
Yeah. I just feel like that's a game that the reviews could be really good and it still might not sell. Because just, reviews matter to a point. But I think some games, you have to just already have the word of mouth and stuff. You already have to have the interest to sell a certain amount anyway. Reviews can help you get a little bit more, but
I'm just curious. I mainly say that because I was surprised to learn that Watch Dogs 2 has sold over 10 million copies.
That is surprising too. Yeah, I think they were talking about how Watch Dogs 2 had a surprisingly long tail. Ubisoft was saying that, so it was who knows how true it is, but
I think if word of mouth's good, Legion can kind of have that too, even if the initial thing is kind of small. There's just so many games coming out, people might be saving up for next gen.
Yeah. Yep, that makes sense. Bet I'd spend a bunch of money.
I already know that because my generous Madre might get at least one more Christmas game, so probably make either that Watch Dogs or Immortals.
Makes sense.
Either way, Ubisoft would be getting some money.
Ubisoft is diving into Jeff's wallet one way or another.
I mean, this is legitimately the most excited I've been for the only time and excited for multiple Ubisoft games at one time.
I don't know, Far Cry 4 was that the last Ubisoft game I've been excited for?
I remember the South Park games. I do like those. Okay, Darby, do you got anything?
Nah.
Okay, I didn't think you did.
Nah.
I figured I'd ask.
League of Legends, you want to hear me talk more about that?
Well, Darby, we'll be talking about something League-esque.
Yeah, later. We will be League adjacent.
Yeah. First, let's get to that news, Darby.
News.
Jingle, jingle, jingle. Sorry, I'm not reading all this. Just information I bring up will come from Matt Kim from IGN. It's about Twitch and how they're just deleting a whole bunch of shit because they're doing DMCA takedowns and just kind of being very vague about it and annoying and pretty much if you think you got something that could be against these rules, you should literally watch all your videos.
Yeah,
they've changed it.
They've told Easy Allies and stuff to go look at all the. It's so you want us to look at 30,000 hours of content and scrub it for
things. That's exactly what I want them to do.
I mean, most of the things I saw was for copyrighted music and stuff like that. Right?
Yeah, and it's just a weird thing of some of this the Twitch kind of or some websites / Switch curate this music. It's that could be okay now, but then not be okay later. And this Blood brought this dumb thing, which I kind of heard some about because of someone using a sample of Tetris from the Game Boy game in their song, that record label is like, oh, this Tetris song, the Tetris music is ours. So you can get copyrighted for literally just playing Tetris.
It's just a nightmare. And people have I worry about that for this gigantic Halloween stream we're about to do. You can have just 1 minute where a song plays and your whole 9-hour stream.
Yeah, so I think Blood also brought up something that interesting. What they used to do was just kind of mute whenever that stuff happened.
Yeah,
which was annoying as far as when I went back and watched vlogs and stuff. But they threw this stuff on YouTube, which is fine. I haven't noticed them do that recently. Just with copyrighted, I haven't seen that stuff recently. So I'm wondering if they just got to stopping that and just going straight for the takedowns.
It's just kind of a nightmare. I mean, the whole thing, because it's all run by bots and algorithms, because it has to, because there's too much for it to be people. But then that's how you get stupid shit like that. And just in general, when it's stuff on Twitch, it's I don't know. It's always been weird to me because it's not like you're going to watch this Twitch streamer to be able to listen to this music or something. It's always they're reacting to real things on the internet. It's not really that much different than you just going and watching something. It's I don't know. It's thorny. I understand. It's weird, and I don't think there's a clean answer. But this seems to be too much. And then Twitch's wording on it to people was just ridiculous when they were basically oh, you should go become a law expert. Basically, it's you should study our rules, the stuff that people even
copyright law,
a lot of even lawyers involved with this don't understand all of it. So it's a mess.
Yeah, and it's the whole thing of having to scrub for your content. It's why don't you show us how or tell us where or something? Because apparently you obviously have the means to do that.
Well, that's an absurd thing to ask. The vast majority of Twitch, I mean, even small creators probably have hours and hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, and the fact that people get strikes for this or banned and stuff for all this.
Yeah, for things that, like you said, it could even be at the time it was allowed, but then now retroactively that song can't be allowed here. It's stupid. Even when we put stuff on YouTube, there doesn't really seem to be any rhyme or reason. When I did the Carol and Tuesday video, I just had some of the clips of the thing or whatever. It was nope, Netflix strikes down if I had any imagery of the show whatsoever, it was blocked, completely blocked. But then I did the She-Ra thing and it's perfectly fine. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Get your shit together, Twitch and everybody. Now there'll be time to talk about something we love.
Nintendo should also get their shit together, because I'm getting kind of tired of this particular business practice we're about to talk about.
Yep. So Darby, they announced something pretty exciting this past week. They announced that the original Fire Emblem, which has not been released outside of Japan. There was a remake. I think some people kind of mixed about if it's better or not. But first time this game has been made outside of Japan. It is coming to the Switch on December 4th for $5.99. Ooh, that's just only good news. There can't be possibly anything bad. Oh, wait, it is limited time. Just like the Mario 3D All-Star Collection, it will also be discontinued on March 31st, 2021.
You want to know my theory, Jeff? I think the world's going to end on March 31st.
Nintendo has the inside scoop.
Nintendo's the only one who knows. They're just preparing for the apocalypse.
Nope.
For the day of reckoning on March 31st. I didn't even know that part. I didn't know it was literally the same day. So, it's all the fiscal year stuff.
Yeah. They also announced a very cool collector's edition, which I want to get, but it's unfortunately sold out.
Yeah, so unfortunately, this is another one of those things where it's we have to kind of have two different conversations. Number one, it's really cool.
I'm getting it.
Yeah, it's really cool to have this old game that it hasn't been here, whatever. Like you said, all good news or whatever. We have to have that conversation, but then also at the same time, why? Why is it limited? once again, I'll reiterate over and over and over again, I hate doing it, but the Wii U is so much better of a retro, like handled retro games way better than the Switch did. Retro games is just like it's just the most obnoxious version of handling your retro games.
Like it's made of some kind of long plan that we just don't know about, but. Like, I think we mentioned this with 3D All-Stars. Like, if it was just the physical edition and just limited and we'll stop production then, okay, fine. So, like, if there's just the collector's edition,
whatever.
That'd be like,
whatever.
The fact it is the digital versions of these games, like, they're literally taking this old-ass 30-year NES game that's $6. They're going to release it, and then they're just going to take it away for some arbitrary reason. It's just stupid.
It's just, I mean, it's so blatantly business scummy of, like, they know this thing's going to sell more if it's going away.
But again, it's such a weird thing for them to do this because it is a $6 NES game. And here's also the thing that I think is a little different that in a way might make it worse than 3D All-Stars, just in one way at least, is the fact, at least with 3D All-Stars games, there are other like ways to play this game in the US. Like those games in the US.
Yeah.
For Fire Emblem, this is literally the first time we could legally play this game on a US console.
And then like next spring, it's just going to go back to being gone again. It's like, it didn't have to go back to being gone again. This could have just been hey, it's here.
And what's also kind of weird, I mean, just a weird thing in general, especially with this game is available on the NES online thing, Nintendo Online thing in Japan.
Stupid.
They get it just with their online subscription. But, I mean, like, so they had to do I'm not necessarily upset that we got to pay for it on its own. It's like, okay, they went in and did the localization stuff for this. They want to get a little money for that, sure, I understand. But it's still weird that like, they'll just be taking away for that in general, but it's going to be available for no additional cost if you have online in Japan.
It's so stupid. And you know the same shit's going to happen next year with Zelda for
100%.
their anniversary.
Yeah, there's going to be some kind Zelda collection or collections because there's so many fucking games. I don't know what kind of collection they would potentially make. Yeah. That they will 100% do this for, and we'll buy it.
100%. And it's like Nintendo has found a way and it's worked on a lot of the people in the gaming industry, a lot of people in general. They've like hoodwinked everyone into like thinking it's something we should applaud them for, that we get to play like Super Mario 64 4 years into the Switch's life cycle for less than a year. It's like, my dudes, that was something you could do day one. You could still go back and do it, the Wii U and the Wii and the freaking 3DS. It's like, why is this the worst console that Nintendo's released in like ever when it comes to this type of thing? And it's like that 3D collection, all three of those games are great or whatever, but what they did to them was fucking nothing. It's like they put a filter over it. That was it was like the least effort you could possibly do.
Soundtrack.
And it sells incredible, because that's the bad thing, is this works. It sucks. And it might even end up like Super Mario 64 might end up even selling more than, I don't know, it might sell more than if it was just available from the get-go. I don't know about that, but it might. But just because I do think this 3D All-Stars thing had a lot of hype drummed up about it, because it's going away and because it's like, we're putting these games and it's like this package or whatever. Ignore the fact that like, this was just an assumed thing 4 years ago, but then,
I think for 3D All-Stars, if it was just, it's just going to be out and just be a thing or whatever, and there wasn't this time shit, I don't think we would have gotten on NPDs the 6th best-selling first month physical sales day for a Nintendo game. I don't think we would have gotten that if it wasn't timed. But I think in the long run, it would sell more, because that's just something that would be continually bought as more and more people buy Switches.
No, I think so. I mean, and that's what I said originally. I mean, I guess I'm second guessing myself somewhat, but like, I really shouldn't be, because this is not a long view move. This is it's just clear as day. Nintendo has jack shit this year. So it's like and then suddenly, like I was talking about, I don't know if it was on the podcast, but like, Nintendo is having a good year now financially, just off the back of of like fake limiting this game to make it seem like a bigger deal than it is. Now suddenly they've done jack shit and they're making a ton of money. Just Animal Crossing and this alone. Hyrule Warriors could completely bomb and they'd be fine. I don't think it's going to, but Animal Crossing and Hyrule Warriors alone was not going to be a good year for Nintendo. That was going to be a pretty bad year.
Dari, you keep on saying just those. I can't let this Paper Mario and Xenoblade slander slide.
Financially, they're blips on the radar. I'm sorry, but I do think both of them. I think Hyrule Warriors will probably outsell both of those games combined, Zelda and Paper Mario.
I have trouble maybe saying that for Paper Mario. I'm not 100% sure.
I stand by it.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, just based on how Dynasty Warriors Musou games kind of sell, and Paper Mario games sometimes sell surprisingly well.
But it got that Breath of the Wild bomb.
That is true, and I'm very curious to see how much that does.
Yeah, I am too.
I think this will definitely sell better than Hyrule Warriors probably overall, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. So
yeah, I don't feel super.
But again, with the whole thing of like them doing this to make their year look better, yeah, that makes sense for Mario 100%. I don't know how doing this for the $6 eShop game does it.
This is just getting out of hand at this point.
And it's like, let's say hypothetically, they finally fucking release Mother 3 over here. They'll do this exact shit.
I mean, at this point, this is becoming a pattern. This seems like this is just how they're doing. They're kind of abandoning the SNES thing because like it was a bad system to begin with, and no one cares about it. The just like drip feeding you old S games or whatever. Like that was
no. He's not saying the SNES is a bad system. Calm down, internet.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I should be more careful with my words. The online thing is stupid.
Yeah.
It was always bad, and then it seems like this is just how they're doing retro stuff now. I expect that this is how we get Ocarina of Time. This is probably how we'd get any like old Metroid game coming back. This is probably how we'd get any like.
God, the Metroid Prime trilogy is going to be timed.
It could be. I mean, I kind of expect that to be more of like a Pikmin. I don't know though. It might be. It might.
Yeah.
Be.
Well, okay. Yeah. At least Pikmin's not timed.
Yeah,
that we know of.
It's just like. At least for like the really old retro stuff that would be banner stuff for the virtual console. Because that's what these Mario games and the Fire Emblem stuff, this would be the like big virtual console type things. It seems like instead of virtual console, they're doing like such a blatantly worse offering by making you wait years to play these games. And then when you finally get 4 years into the Switch life cycle, you can play these games, we're going to just arbitrarily pull it away. It just makes me mad. I get like a little too angry with this. It's just like I love Nintendo, but I also hate Nintendo a lot. Like both of those, I feel very strongly both ways.
Also, I just want to say we're probably still not getting Mother 3. No. I'm sorry for putting that idea in your head. Legitimately, because I think people brought up a good point as far as why that probably hasn't happened. There's some very potentially racist and transphobic stuff in there from what I've read that just wouldn't fly nowadays. Yikes. That might be part of the reason.
Oh, interesting.
I might be kind of wrong, but it looks like there's some problematic shit in there.
I know very little about Earthbound and Mother in general, so...
Yeah, so it seems to be reasons beyond Nintendo.
I just talk about it in the context of the memes.
Yeah. And memes are powerful.
Yeah, memes are powerful.
You know what also is powerful, Darby?
The stick.
The power of the cloud.
The X stick.
Yeah. This comes from Tom Warren from The Verge. Microsoft's head of gaming and Xbox, Phil Spencer, has hinted that the company is planning TV streaming sticks for its xCloud cloud gaming service. In an interview with Stratechery, Spencer discusses the potential for additional tiers of Xbox Game Pass, which could include a free bundled TV stick to play xCloud games. Quote, I think you're going to see lower price hardware as part of our ecosystem when you think about streaming sticks, other things that somebody might want to just go plug into their TV and go play via xCloud. You could imagine us even having something that we could just include in the Game Pass description that gave you an ability to stream xCloud games to your television and buying the controller. Spencer also teases the potential for an Xbox Game Pass Platinum with guaranteed access to new Xbox hardware. Microsoft has been bundling Xbox subscriptions and hardware together in something called Xbox All Access, which includes access to Xbox Game Pass and the latest Xbox Series X and Series S consoles. It's a bundle that Spencer is obviously keen to experiment with in the future. I think this is a swell idea.
Yeah, I absolutely do too. We already talked about the Xbox Series S being like a good lower price edition for people to get or whatever. This is just that on steroids, obviously. If you could,
I would 100% get this.
I mean, especially if it's,
on the price.
I imagine it would be really cheap if you can basically just have an Amazon Fire Stick for games. I mean, I see that option, that absolutely selling.
Oh yeah. Like I talked about potentially like even if I didn't have the PC, like okay, maybe I would getting a Series X. And this was a thing like it's if I was confident as well, no, I'm just getting this stick.
That's why as long as we get to the point where this works, I do think like something like this is the future eventually, and it seems like Xbox is better suited than anyone else to be taking advantage of it. But like I can 100% see in the future, especially if you just are a parent and you have your 12-year-old kid just wants to play Fortnite and Minecraft and stuff or whatever, just get a little stick. Just get the stick, put it in the TV, boom, you're done.
Well, and also like, something that'd be really awesome about just that kind of thing in general. It's like, especially if you're, and let's say you have an Xbox, it's pretty much a Game Pass machine anyway. Well, that just makes carrying your Xbox from place to place so much easier. Like, like let's say you're going on a trip or whatever with the kids or whatever, you could just take that fire stick type thing,
easier.
Plug into the TV in the hotel or something, and there you go.
Yep. Yeah, the concept of me having to lug my PS4 around everywhere or whatever might be stupid at some point because it's like you just take just have this USB drive. That's basically it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think it's something that Xbox is obviously going to try to do and obviously make at some point. Yeah. Pretty soon.
And that's what the good thing about this is I could see there's like certain families that were always the normal consoles were always going to be out of their price range. This will be a good thing for them. But then like you're saying, it could be a good supplemental thing for us. Like we could play our Game Pass games or whatever on their PCs. But then if we're like going over to a friend's house or going over somewhere else, just grab the USB and probably you can keep playing your game. Somewhere else. Or
it's also the interesting thing. It's going to be like, let's say once this is officially announced or they go into details about this, when they do it, is that they're talking about coming with it being bundled in the Game Pass. So it's like you say, if Ultimate, you kind of just get a thing and they'll send you one or something. I don't know if it'll be like you have to buy a certain amount of months of it or how that would work. But be very interesting.
Some bundle thing, I mean
even if I don't know how much like it'd be the ceiling for me. If that costs too much, then I'd obviously be like, okay, fuck it. I'd be very curious to see how low they're going for this thing. Is this also something like potentially? I just had a thought for you, for your purposes. You have this, you could just take it over to your sisters,
right? Yeah, no, exactly.
And then those,
the concept of having to take your console places is probably going to in the future be kind of irrelevant because someone like us, we're big old nerds with a gaming podcast, we're probably not going to primarily play on this thing. We're going to play our downloaded games, but like that's absolutely there's circumstances going over to a friend's house and everything, or even we go to Alex and Olivia's house, we could just like take that or whatever, maybe instead of having to load a bunch of shit.
Because there's some multiplayer games on our Game Pass that just because it's not the PC or the Xbox not running console, we just kind of really think about it. That would just
and
make
I'm
those
just
games
projecting
easier.
into the future, imagining 2 more years of Game Pass just growing and growing and growing, and then this thing comes out. It could be like
Yeah, and then also hypothetically, this is a game just kind of like you enjoy playing your laptop, but you usually want to chill on the couch.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. You can play your like game that you're playing on the PC and just like resume it on the couch or whatever. I imagine it'll work like that. I would hope.
I have to imagine.
Yeah, because that would be pretty sweet to just pop it in there. And it's just the ease of use for just changing screens when playing games and just playing a bunch of different ways is just going to be so much more than it is now.
We still need to try out xCloud at some point.
Yeah. Which is it only on phones right now? I think, right? Yeah, I think it's.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I can't do it on my phone, despite I'm the one whose account we'd be using.
Yeah, but I can.
Yep.
We should try it.
We got Stadia now. So we can kind of compare it.
Are supporters of the X Stick.
Yep. Now, Derby, it is time for some bad news.
I love that. I love me some bad news.
Yes. This comes from Andy Schalk from PC Gamer. In August, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 developer Heartsuit Labs announced that it had partnered with both lead writer Brian Mitsoda and creator director Kai Clooney Reasons for their release weren't given, but Masoda suggested that it wasn't a happy split, saying that he was unaware of any problems and that his firing came as a complete surprise. Today, publisher Paradox Interactive confirmed that senior narrative designer Kara Ellison has also left the project and is no longer with developer Heartsuit Labs. Rumors about Ellison's departure began to swirl after fans noted that she removed references to the project from her Twitter profile. Armella developer League of Geeks also recently announced that Ellison had joined it as senior narrative designer. Quote, we can confirm that Kara Ellison has decided to leave Hardsuit Labs and is no longer working on Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, a Paradox spokesperson said. Kara brought fresh ideas to the project, and many of her contributions will be present in the game launching next year. We thank her for her work on Bloodlines 2 and wish her the best in all of her future endeavors. Darby, I'm worried about this game.
That looks like a sinking ship over there.
That does look like a sinking ship. There are some people that when the last two people were announced to go, that's like, okay, they might be coming down in development, coming close to in development. You don't know these people. But at the same time, this got delayed into who knows when next year. Right. I think it's just an ambiguous 2021. And I feel like we don't hear people in these big high up spots announcing to leave a studio with the games are close to done. I feel like that's not a thing. It might be a thing more behind the scenes we don't hear about much.
I think it has to be closer to done than this. I mean, I think there's been times where people walk off the project when they're kind of part just done. But these wasn't really jobs of
lead writer and creative and director and senior narrative designers.
Those are the type of people that have work to do until it's done. And the fact that it's not just an isolated incident. I mean, obviously we don't know these people. So that other guy, it's who knows what was going on behind the scenes? We don't know. The guy says he doesn't know, but there might be something that he's not saying. Now that it's starting to be not isolated, it was already things being pushed back, and there was concerns about it already. It's I think there's cause to worry.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm just judging by this, it's been a series of kind of tumultuous news. So
it definitely has worried. I'm still interested in the game to see where it goes, but this definitely kind of brings it down to earth a little bit.
It just definitely at least raises the concern levels.
Yeah.
It was already a very small studio over the first game was a very small niche game with lots of problems but had some promise, and then it really seems like they're kind of trying to punch way above their weight with this. They're advertising it like a very big new RPG, and might be too much going on over there. I don't know.
Yep.
And just I think a lot of video game devs are just poorly run.
Yeah, so we'll see how this goes in the coming months, I assume. I don't know. Who knows when the next time we'll see this game is?
Yeah, it could be next year and next summer or something. I don't know.
Could be E3 for all we know. And might maybe get a date. Who knows?
Will we have an E3 is the question.
Fair enough. No, we'll get what's we call it? That thing you watched a good bit of.
Oh God,
Guerrilla Gaming.
Yep.
Weren't they there?
Yeah, they said they're coming back again next year.
Let's go, baby.
Oh boy.
I'm not making a bet for them next time.
Please.
Or at least not one that's that big.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on, Darby. We're going into everyone's favorite segment. Everybody gets a movie/TV show.
It's been literally 5 out of the last 7 podcasts.
I'm glad I gave it an official name that might slightly change every episode.
Probably has, but it's fine.
So, Darby, that's the name of the segment, but this isn't a new thing announced. This is
very not new.
Something we've been hearing about for years, and we just assumed that it was dead, multiple times. But they was okay, guys, it's happening. I was okay.
Sure, Grandpa, sure.
And then Tom Holland is we're filming. I can't remember if I said it, but this is about the Uncharted movie. It's not clear.
No. I think everyone knows. Everyone knows.
So we got to first look at Tom Holland. I assume you've seen it?
I have.
So yeah, what do you think, Darby? As the local Uncharted guy.
Yes, I love the Uncharted games. I feel Alana is the only other person I saw express this opinion. I feel like I'm in the minority by saying I kind of feel nothing either. I feel no strong opinion either way. I don't think it looks bad.
Get out of here, Dari. We need hot takes.
Honestly, I'm sorry. I'm not bringing the heat this time. I mean, it was like, I looked at it, I was like, yep, sure. Like, yeah. It looks like Tom Holland in a Nathan Drake costume. That's fine. I mean, whatever. I was like, it didn't like, oh, I'm like, this movie is gonna be good. We were all wrong. This is great. And it also doesn't make me feel that, but I also don't feel like, throw it out, this is terrible. I saw on the internet those two. I mostly saw like the hyper.
I think we can agree because we've seen characters look good in these things before, and the thing just be terrible.
I thought Suicide Squad was going to be a good movie, and it turns out it wasn't a movie.
Yeah. So that actually, I was about to say, this means nothing as far as quality of the movie, but people pointed out his shirt isn't half tucked in.
Yeah, it's terrible. Then
yeah.
Throw that. I did see Neil said something about like you better tuck that shirt in, or at least half of it.
Yeah. So. Yeah, he looks like Nathan Drake. He's still obviously a younger Nathan Drake, I guess. It's kind of funny to see what a normal Nathan Drake clothing with guy with a baby face.
That's what it is. Kind of weird to have young Nathan Drake wearing older Nathan Drake's iconic outfit. That kind of like clashes a little, but
well, Darby.
But again, I also like don't really love acting like I can completely judge the quality of a movie off of like a one set photo, and people do that all the time. Nope. Like, at least let me see a trailer before I'm gonna declare this movie good or bad. It's like, no.
But Dari, what if I told you there's more to see?
Oh.
Get a little look at Marky Marcus Sully.
Wait, I forgot that he's Sully. I thought that was a joke a long time ago, but I forgot that that's real.
Here we go. From Jeff Keighley himself.
So is this just him in the set, I guess? Like, yeah. God, that mustache looks very...
But Darby,
I the mustache should look cheesy. I mean, it should. But...
Darby, I can't remember who it was. I think Brandon Jones replied to it, and that's why it ended up on my feed of a couple people like who should have been like, imagine Mark Wahlberg or Sully when we could have these guys. I can't remember who three of them out of the four were, but one of them was Bruce Campbell, and I was like, why wasn't it him? I think Jones had the same reaction, like, why did you put in my head that we could have had Bruce Campbell as Sully?
Yeah. Okay, you want the hot take. Maybe this is the hot take. Is it a hot take to say that I'm not really that crazy about Mark Wahlberg as an actor at all? Like, in any role. I can't remember a role I really enjoyed.
I thought you were going to talk shit about Bruce Campbell. I was going to have that.
It's like, I mean, I think Mark Wahlberg is respected as a decent actor, but I just like...
Yeah, I never cared for him.
I can't really think of any role that I actually liked him in. And Sully really just, I don't think, works very well. Like, I just associate Mark Wahlberg with just, like, corny, bad comedy.
Ted.
With Ted. It's probably the best role he's ever done. I mean, like, that's the type of role that I see him in. That, like, I feel like I would struggle to take him seriously, but hopefully he'll prove me wrong.
Well, this whole movie's got to prove you wrong.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Uncharted is corny too, and Sully is, but just not Mark Wahlberg. It's the wrong type of corny, yeah. I think. But who knows? I love Uncharted. It's not going to tear me apart if this movie's bad. I'll just be like, okay, it was another one, whatever. It's like,
we just have to see,
because I do still kind of feel like even a good Uncharted movie is just like an action movie. It's just like, I don't know.
But we'll have to see. Does it dethrone Sonic the Hedgehog? It's the best video game movie.
Nothing ever will, because we'll probably just not get many good video game. But it's not as much of a compliment to Sonic as it is a negative on just anyone making decisions on video game movies.
It's okay that I'm excited for a Sonic the Hedgehog movie sequel, but this is where we're at in the world.
Fuck yeah, dude. Let's go.
Sonic's one of the few good things that come out of 2020, just saying.
I just, what you need is at least in the post-credits of the second one, turns into a werewolf.
Aliens can turn into werewolves. It makes sense. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, I want, and then the third movie is straight up that game that he turns into a werewolf, just that made into a movie. They translate that storyline, and then the fourth one is Shadow the Hedgehog.
Fuck yeah, man!
He gets his own movie.
Yeah,
let's go. Sonic's in that universe. Let's go, baby.
And when it is in the teaser, Shadow says his iconic line. It's like taking candy from a baby, and that's fine by me.
Sonic is a blessing.
And a curse. Oh boy. Sonic is the best and worst thing to ever happen. Ever.
Oh boy. But I don't even have to add. I know that's a real line. Like, I haven't even heard it, but I know that's a real line.
Okay. Other news. Let's see how much we get out of these topics.
Other news.
Some of these, the other news thing is weird because like some of these we end up having a lot of discussion than the actual main topics, but you know.
We can spend the entire podcast talking about AOC crushing them Twitch numbers.
What they're talking about is AOC played Among Us, and it was one of the biggest streams on Twitch ever, the third biggest if I remember correctly, and it peaked with a little over 430,000 viewers.
We've evolved a lot from Pokemon Go to the polls. Or the second meeting of politics and games had a much better result, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, this is cool. I've kind of been hoping that something like this would happen for a long time because we learned that AOC plays League of Legends and a bunch of other games and stuff like that. And I was like, oh shit, we're getting old enough to where
think she'll play Pokemon Unite with us.
The young nerds are like getting holding political office and everything.
Yeah.
So that was cool. It was cool to see her do that. I mean, I expected it would do a lot of numbers, but that is pretty crazy. It was like up there, like the top 5, whatever. Yeah, she should stream League. It would be fun.
Yeah. But Darby, she can't. She's a congresswoman. She's got to be busy all the time. She can't have fun.
She's got to go play golf. That's the only thing you're allowed to do.
Yeah, that's the only thing you're allowed to do.
I think this is awesome, and I want to go back and watch some of the stream. I watched some of it, some of the clips. It looked like fun. It looked like a fun time. I wonder if she'll do it again with someone else.
NBA 2K21 added unskippable ads.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Like at the start of games, you got to go through some unskippable ads. And I'm like, I think it sounds like some people's problems with it. I guess because they're kind of at this point like, oh, this is how it works. Kind of okay with it, but I'm like, why the fuck are there skippable ads in my $60 game?
It's just so fucking obnoxious. It's like it like kind of creeps me out and makes me angry how bold like some of these EA, Activision, 2K, all these or whatever are getting when it comes to just like, we don't give a shit. It's like you're gonna buy this shit. We're gonna just like riddle it with just like the most like scientifically engineered loot boxes to get children to spend a bunch of money on this game. We're just like, we don't give two shits anymore. I mean, even when I played like Madden, I bought the Madden 20. It was the first Madden I'd bought in years and years and years. Every single time I open that game, it's like, hey, do you want to do this EA subscription? Hey, do you want to sign up to this newsletter? Hey, do you want to do this? You want to do this? You want to do this? This is like literally like 4 or 5 things I have to hit circle to like back out of before I can even get to the damn main menu every single time I do it. And that wasn't even trying to advertise me outside things. The fact that you're like literally getting like, I'm guessing it's like a YouTube video ad almost.
Something like that, yeah.
Like that's just so fucking ridiculous.
Yep.
And like the bad thing is, as soon as they do it, then other games are gonna start doing it. Like that's just how it's gonna work.
Yep.
You're gonna realize
it makes me really happy I don't give a shit about these sports games as far as me actually playing them.
Yeah, it could seep to other places. I mean, that's kind of how loot box. Next thing you know, it was in fucking Crash Bandicoot. It was in things that just don't even make sense for it to be in. Yeah. So, who knows? I think that the biggest things you have to worry about is like online games, like. I could see League or something, or Overwatch, or any of these other ones doing something like that.
Little Nightmares 2 got a new Halloween trailer. Creepy AF.
Creepy AF. Yeah,
a lot of crazy stuff. Showing, I guess, a little more of the co-op gameplay. You're just seeing stuff with 2 characters walking around doing some crazy shit. Saw a creepy fat man hanging from the ceiling, just going around messing with your shit. Creepy doll woman, I think. That just head just kind of going like, hi.
Hey, guys.
weird backhanded dude with a shotgun or something chasing after you in the woods.
I just want you to do this for the entire trailer.
Yeah.
Weird fucking dog thing with the weird knife. And
Weird hand coming out and trying to grab you and shit.
Just like we need to release like a 4-hour video of you just doing this for the whole game. It's like weird card they walk through and
weird locker falling on you.
Weird credits at the end.
Yeah. But again, I'm very excited for this game. We get it early next year. I wish it was coming out, around now. It'd been great for a Halloween stream, especially with the co-op.
Yes, it would.
But you can expect me and Darby to play it. I don't know if we're going to stream it or anything, but we're definitely going to play it and talk about it.
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay.
We did that with A Way Out, and that was a fun time.
True. So yeah, you can expect that in February.
Yes, I want to play this game.
Yeah. You should play the first one.
I should. Probably won't by then. Hopefully I don't need to, but I should.
Yeah. Really good. And the final news story, they nerfed Steve's meat.
Moment of silence.
Pour it out for the
Amen. We knew it was the glory days of Smash are behind us.
Yep. Man, there's, I don't know, 2 days. It was the best time Smash ever had.
Yeah, I really, I would need a translator, but I really want to be a fly on the wall of that boardroom meeting when they went to the developers and were like, hey, listen, you're going to have to scrap what you were going to do today. We need you to go in and change the victory pose. It's like, oh, why do we need to change that? Well, you see, the Americans are horny again.
Oh, fuck.
No.
Did they put the crown on another character?
No, they left the crown alone for now.
No new major crown issues yet.
No new crown updates. Yeah, they're just too wholesome. They're a bunch of wholesome Japanese developers.
But going to just the crown just real second and this kind of thing. How much do they regret the crown? Oh,
instant regret. I'm surprised they didn't just take the crown out of the game and be like, you can't have the crown.
Well, the unfortunate thing, they couldn't because that's like the big major feature of that game, that re-release.
Yeah, I just want to surely that got so big. Surely, the higher ups in Nintendo who made the game were very aware of what just happened.
Oh yeah. They tagged Miyamoto on Twitter.
Miyamoto doesn't check his Twitter.
I know. I don't think he has a Twitter. He might, but he doesn't have the password for it.
He probably heard. I don't think they were able to. They might have tried to shield him from it, but I don't think it probably wasn't successful.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just one final thing. Something that's kind of funny I saw today on Twitter. Saw someone post the starting roster for Smash Ultimate if you have all the DLC. So you have the original 8 characters with the 8 DLC characters. So someone put, the original 16. So your starting roster is like the Mario, Pikachu, Fox, and then you also have Steve and Min.
So much nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's where Steve debuted 15 years before.
Yep. So did Joker.
Yeah, it's funny. That is a really weird sight, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay, Darby. We're almost at the end of the podcast, but we decided after finding out some stuff last night to have a little conversation since I don't think we've really talked about it so much since it was announced. And since then, your interest in particular has skyrocketed.
You last night we were like, I've never heard you have that tone of voice about a Pokemon game.
Yes, and we're talking about Pokemon Unite, the MOBA spinoff game that was announced back in June. Yeah, and that was announced, and I'm sure you all remember, people freaked the fuck out. People hated it.
People were very mature.
Yeah.
No,
generally, just. Our general guys not for us, but cool. Now it is for you.
Yes. Yeah. I forget I don't remember what month it was exactly that I got into League, but I guess it wasn't too long after that. But definitely at the time of that, I certainly because it went from literally I had no concept of League before we started playing League, and then very soon after playing League, I fell in love with it. So very quick turnaround, but. Yeah, I don't know if we talked about it in the podcast at all, but when I look at this game now, especially now with the new leaked stuff, that there is new characters and new just more gameplay because there's a beta going on in China that I hope comes here. But now we've seen that, I'm like, I am really excited for this because now I have the context when I'm looking and I'm like, okay, they're taking this from League. This is from League, but a little bit simple. This is a new thing. There's and
I haven't played nearly as much League as you because I barely play any of it. But I've at least played, and just heard you guys talking about I get some I'm able to see some of those parallels you are at the very least and get to understand what you guys are talking about and what's going on at least,
right?
Which is good.
And from these leaks and stuff, I now see it rose my excitement because when that first one they focused, understandably so, just on the playing with your friends, attacking each other, and scoring. But the fact that we now know that there are map objectives in the center, and it's really cool because again, just all of this just fits Pokemon like a glove because in League there's dragons and different monsters that you can fight inside the jungle that give you different buffs, and stuff like the dragon is random. It's a different one that gives a different buff, and it's random every match. Pokemon, it seems like they're doing the same thing, and it's different Pokemon. It seems like you have the different legendary bird, or we're just maybe assuming that the other legendary birds.
Because all we've seen is Zapdos, as far as the big dragon adjacent Pokemon. We saw Dreadnought in the middle as well.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely different ones, and they're set up. It looks very much like League, where they have their little corner thing to themselves there, and it's they're sitting there waiting, and you can go and fight them. And that was the biggest thing I was worried about, was that Pokemon Unite wasn't going to have central things drawing everyone together. It was going to be more just kind of mindless dunking the basketballs and the things or whatever. But that excites me a lot more because it seems it's definitely different, and the scoring mechanism and stuff is different, more simple, but there's going to be strategy. There's 100% going to be strategy.
And you guys were popping off seeing what some of the characters could do. It's oh god, that's so-and-so, and look what Ninja did. Making the clones.
I was also very impressed by how I honestly expected everyone to be a little more reined in as far as I expected it to be more simple, just straight line abilities, or kind of more simple archetypes, which there's definitely Pikachu looks very simple and stuff, but there's definitely there's a stun that does a wall, and so you can stun someone and wall them off from their help or whatever. Yeah. There's the Greninja can make clones of himself, which is that's in League. There's a character that can make a clone of themselves and send the clone at you. And me and Alex are so bad about attacking the clone. You'll attack the clone and it'll disappear, and you're fuck. You'll waste an ability on the clone. I could already see that kind of stuff with Greninja, and it's I feel we're probably just scratching the surface because there's probably gonna be more characters at launch that we haven't seen, and they're just gonna keep adding characters to this as it goes. So it's already looking a lot more diverse than I was expecting it to.
Yeah, it looks based on as far as the potential diversity of characters and stuff, we know there seem to be 5 different archetypes which seem to generally go along with League. Maybe they're more simpler turns, but general things, attacker, more defensive, whatever, tankish characters, support, and that kind of stuff. I think they had Warren was more a more neutral or whatever kind of, I think may have said on the leaked listings that may be more beginner friendly, which I imagine Pikachu at the very least is a part of.
Sure.
And so that when we got to see character select screen, we saw a bunch of stats, at least 5 stats. I think 5 stats for each character, which had a bar with varying stuff on there, which we don't know what any of that meant because it was in Chinese, but that's good that
very
good character different. And we were saying, we're just looking at Greninja and Alolan Ninetales, which Pokemon Darby was talking about with the stun in the wall and stuff. Okay, they're gonna have these Pokemon are gonna have different abilities that fit the Pokemon, which is something that I think it has been done decently well in Pokemon spin-off, like Pokken, for example, and Smash even, where it's okay, we're not using just the regular Pokemon moves for this necessarily. We're doing Greninja's a ninja. So we're gonna just, give it some water stuff, but it's also gonna do a bunch of ninja shit. Like Incineroar's gonna be a wrestler and stuff. Like Incineroar can be in there and do wrestling shit.
Seems like they have license to kind of do their own take on some things.
And like I have to imagine potentially Decidueye would get in there Rowlet's evolution and just be an archer.
Yeah. You could have because that's obvious in League. There's like marksman. There's a class basically that's focused on people that do like long range stuff for damage. And yeah, you could totally see that. I mean, that's why again fits Pokemon like a glove, because you have like big things like Charizard and Snorlax that are just obvious tanks. But then you also have in the fact that we see like the fairy Pokemon or whatever in the little puffball thing. Yeah, well, we know Jigglypuff and Clefairy or /Clefable are in the game. Those are playable. You can already see if Jigglypuff has like a sleep ability. It could be huge.
Mr. Mime is playable, which I'm interested to see. Probably a bunch of barriers and shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He could be a very tricky, weird character that knows.
Gardevoir is in there, which they could do some very interesting
the shark guy, right?
Or no, Gardevoir is the horny looking one. From Pokemon.
Okay, yeah.
The one, Garchomp's in there. That's the one. The land shark one.
Yeah.
Absol is in there, which is really cool. This guy, this one right here. He's white, has a little horn thing on the side of his head.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what they do with him. Let's see. Slowbro's in it, which is fun.
Yeah.
Machamp. Machamp's one I like. I've seen them pushed in a lot of these things recently. I'm like, okay, good for you, Machamp. And I remember when we were watching one of the things, I guess it was his ult where he just did a flurry of big punches and stuff.
I see him being the high damage guy that he starts coming at you, especially because we still don't know, like, like in League, different characters, like some characters will start out, like, it's not a linear progression. Some characters will start out very slow building, but then at the end of the game, they're like super powerful, and then other characters are the opposite, and some is more of a steady curve. I can see like Machamp being one that like late game, the Machamp carries. Like, you crowd around the Machamp and he goes.
Yep. Gengar in there, which probably have some weird ass shit.
Oh yeah, very tricky, I'm sure.
Something that's also just kind of interesting based on what we've seen from the footage we watched, and we kind of assumed Pokemon evolve in this game, but it seems to be not necessarily random. It's a choice by them, but not necessarily clear who may evolve or not. For example, Pikachu's is going to be Pikachu, which is the mascot, so I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You have stuff like Charizard will start as a Charmander, Lovely Ninetales will be a Vulpix, and stuff like that. Even Gengar will start as a Ghastly, which is a completely different thing. You just a little orb floating around and all that.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I noticed cool. that it wasn't the focus, but one of the games we watched, it was
nice.
It started as a Ghastly.
That's awesome.
But you see stuff like Pikachu's not the only Pokemon that only has one form. Snorlax is Snorlax on them despite having a pre-evolution. Yeah. Lucario starts as Lucario despite having a little...
do we really know, is the actual, like, them evolving, is that any more than just an aesthetic difference? I mean, because everyone else still gets to, even if, like, Snorlax and Pikachu still got to pick a move, right? Like, you pick a move to insert in there.
It could very well just be more of a aesthetic thing. I'm honestly not sure. I guess it also gives them a bigger hitbox. I guess
you would think, because I mean, just looking at Charmander, there was this like little thing, and then when they returned to Charizard, he was like flying, and this big old thing right there. So, I mean, that's probably a good sign that it's probably different, and probably like the characters there are some characters that evolve, so they kind of like at the beginning of the game they're like a small little hitbox doing this thing, at the end they're this, but then there's other characters that have more of a static thing or whatever. It's like both can work, just like League.
Yeah, well, I guess it's kind of adding on to what you were just saying. That could be an interesting thing. Depending on how they do it, is there's level up and kind of stats will kind of evolve and stuff. Yeah, the ones that evolve will start weaker and then just grow stronger. Like you're saying, the Snorlax will be a big hitter from the beginning.
Yeah,
but
you could probably slap Charmander like at the beginning, but
will be more slightly behind like the Charizards and that kind of stuff, which could be an interesting kind of dynamic and strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it kind of goes along with, you can tell the ones that it's just like, nope, you're too popular. You got to stay Pikachu from the beginning to the end.
So like, I'm very curious. We talked about it yesterday because it's a Pokemon I'd be surprised is not in this game in any way, is Eevee. because that's kind of the second mascot to Pikachu. It's like, okay, do they keep it Eevee or are they going to evolve it?
It'd be very interesting.
Like, or is Eevee going to have Eevee's going to have a weird gimmick the way it can't evolve to any of them, depending, or will each, steadily they'll add all the evolutions, but they all start as Eevee. And maybe
it would be really cool if there was some sort of like you choose which direction to go as Eevee, but that would obviously be a lot of choice. It seems like everyone usually just has like 2 moves they're choosing from or something. But
and that you have to make the Pokemon completely different. Or if they could do a different thing and, like we were saying, make Eevee playable, just make the evolutions playable, and that's just their one form or something. Yeah. I don't know. I'd just be shocked if we get through.
It could also just be like skins, and then the skins make whatever you're doing that look like that element or whatever. It's like it could just be that, but.
Yeah, and I'd just be surprised if we don't get any of Eevee's line playable or anything.
Yeah, Eevee does seem like a harder one to do, but they'll probably find a way to do it.
It could be a very hype, especially if it's different, like potential one of the first like post-launch characters.
Yeah, at least it seems like they're not afraid to like go out of the super expected Pokemon, right? From what you and Alex were saying, like some of these choices are kind of more off the walls, aren't they? Like
Absol I would not have expected, but it kind of makes sense. Like Mr. Mime, I necessarily wouldn't have expected. I think there is going to be some. It's like, okay, these are popular, but it's also going to be partly potentially moveset is going to be a big factor. Like again, Mr. Mime's whole thing is barriers because he's a fucking mime. I can imagine a big part of his choice choosing him was being able to do that and to make a moveset around him. Yeah. And, there's some ones that are interesting, like Garchomp being a land shark thing. Like, that's an interesting... He's popular and just has an interesting moveset just right there. Same thing with Greninja. He's a fucking ninja and one of the most popular Pokemon there is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, it's going to be mixed with both. Like, I think Pokken pretty much was that same thing. Like, I think Chandelure was that because more, like... partly it's being the goof Pokemon, but like, okay, we can do an interesting moveset here. Not necessarily the most popular one, pretty popular, but...
Put Chandelure in this game.
Yep.
Coward.
Yep.
I'm excited even from just a super duper support minded player when it comes to these games, but I'm satisfied with just that one, the Ninetales one.
Yeah.
Like if that's a good indication, because it also... What I appreciate about League versus like Overwatch, which is, the other one of these games I've played the most of. I'm not super duper experienced with MOBAs, but Overwatch, I've learned to like really appreciate League's take on supports more than Overwatch, where Overwatch is just like most of the supports are all just kind of heal bots for the most point. They can do other things, but it's mostly just pumping healing. Whereas League takes support, like support does mean healing, but it also means like stunning people, setting things up, blocking off damage. It's like support means a bunch of different things, or like cleansing a status effect or doing different things like that. And it's just more of a unique take on support than just different ways of pumping healing into people. And it's a good sign that this already, like, I don't know if we straight up see that Ninetales is a support, but it looks like it's a support in more of the League sense,
I'm blanking on this Pokemon's name because I think most of the time we saw it was with I've seen it is with our nickname of it, which I'm also forgetting.
Like that was freaking Bethesda man. Bethesda Elder Scrolls Fallout man.
Todd Howard.
Howard. That was
we named it Todd Howard.
I named it Todd Howard.
Actually, I can look at his name real quick, so just for people know. Like, that Pokemon screams to me that it is a support Pokemon.
Yeah, I kind of forgot what it does, but it looks supporty, but I kind of forgot what it does in the game.
Yeah, it does, like, status effects and stuff is the main thing it'll do. And it'll probably do some weird things. Let me see.
Todd Howard.
Eldegoss, yeah. Eldegoss.
Yeah.
Which... kind of also surprising. Let me double check. In a weird twist of fate right now, Eldegoss is the only Gen 8 Pokemon that we've seen. Random. But also, again, kind of appreciated that it's not just the obvious ones, and they're just doing weird shit.
Is Gen 8 the new one?
Yeah, Sword and Shield Pokemon, unless I'm forgetting one.
Yeah,
it is the only one announced so far.
Wow, yeah, that's not the one I would have thought. But like you said, that's a good sign, because that probably means that they are like thinking... like if not first, they're thinking about moveset high in the priority list. It's like we're not just gonna do Incineroar or whatever just because Incineroar is like we need the support. We need another support in this lineup, and we're gonna And it's like, yeah, they're gonna put in popular Pokemon to be like, boom, big splash. But I imagine like in between those popular Pokemon, you might have some there just like, this is one you wouldn't have expected, but the moveset is like,
again, it was also surprising. It's just like League had a whole bunch of characters. Obviously, has a lot. Probably what they're going to plan on doing here, and yeah, they can.
I hope
because they're not going just straight for all the popular ones. Yeah, they're saying they can kind of spread them out, and we can just get a bunch of surprises in there as well. And I think something that will be continuously fun, especially if I get more into the, like, you enjoy it enough to continue playing and I get into it, is whenever there's a new Pokemon announcement like we do with Overwatch Heroes or Smash Kids or something, we sit here and just kind of, once the announcement's kind of here and geek out about what we could potentially do and all
Hell
that.
Yeah. We have failed to get you and Olivia into League, but I'll take this. I'll take that.
All it takes is like literally my favorite franchise.
We just need a Pokemon skin on it. We all knew that's all it would take.
Yes, as people who are watching the video can probably tell, we don't have as much of it out, but I like Pokemon.
Yes, we love Pokemon around these parts. Pokemon's the best.
What type of Pokemon would Tipo be?
Some sort of psychic, right, or something.
Actually, especially with how Tipo works in the story with at least 100% psychic.
Tales of Zillia is a good ass game.
It is.
Well, you have any more Pokemon Untie thoughts?
I can't really think of anything else. I think it could be fun if we wanted to at some point. If we just don't really have much of anything, we can just talk about what Pokemon we'd want on a roster and talk about potential movesets.
Yeah.
Whether it's its own video or something, could be a little fun little.
When do you think this game's coming out?
I have absolutely no idea. Here's the thing. We kind of been throwing out potentially by the fall, and they might have said, but I don't think they actually said when it was coming out.
They didn't.
Yeah, I think they just did a vague soon or some shit. Yeah. I have absolutely no idea. Hopefully the fact that it's a beta going on right now in China, and especially since it's going to be a free-to-play game, I think that means, it may not be everything they planned, obviously, but they can just put it out. Hopefully we get a beta soon, and we can get into it and all that.
Yeah, I'm hoping I keep forgetting, we're pretty late in this year. I hope at least, January, February next year or something. So
I think the fact we're getting these, apparently they also had a beta a couple weeks ago or something like that. I'm hoping that it makes sense that China would be the focus on this as far as getting those. If one place is going to get it, I get it.
That is going to by far be the biggest player base.
Yes. So I'm hoping that's a good sign we're getting it in the at least some news at the very least in the coming months. Because technically all this stuff that we've talked about, people, technically none has been officially announced in America. Literally all the Pokemon mostly that we've talked about, it's because we've been seeing these leaks and stuff from China.
Because they saw how it happened last time Americans saw this. We threw a temper tantrum overall as a whole. So they're like,
oh my God,
we don't want to talk to y'all
Here's the thing that's gonna suck is if they talk about this in a direct, whether it be Pokemon or otherwise, people are just going to bitch and complain about it just for it existing.
Yep.
They're taking this arbitrary time away from something that, obviously, if Pokemon Unite wasn't this direct, Mother 3 would have been shown.
Yeah, they definitely, they just, deleted those games just because of this. It's like, my guys, it does not work that way.
Again, people were way too upset with this because, especially with this kind of game, it's either it exists or it doesn't. It doesn't take the place of any weird Pokemon spin-off.
It wasn't even made by Nintendo. Yeah. It was
it's made by Tencent, of course, this is what a Pokemon partnering with Tencent was. That was announced. I forgot about when this announcement was coming up. It happened a year ago. They announced that partnership. Of course, it was going to be a MOBA. Yeah. And at the time, I did not think about it until afterwards. Daniel Amali was hyping up. And I was like, okay, that's going to be a cool one. I'm going to be interested. Of course, him saying that it was going to be 10 cents later. And of course, then it was going to be a MOBA.
Because that's just the weird thing about League and MOBAs and stuff in general. It's so bizarre for me and you pay attention to gaming news way more than the average person. We pay attention to it a lot. And it's so weird that MOBAs and League of Legends, especially in particular, it's the biggest things on the planet. I think Alex said that the semifinals for the Worlds or the first round of the finals for the Worlds for League got like 2.5 million viewers or whatever. It's not even the main event yet. And it's so weird that it can be that big and just completely like radio silence. Most of the like professional game people we follow like don't know anything about this, and I didn't either until a few months ago. It's so weird that those two things could be true. It's like so much bigger than any of the PS5, Xbox things that we're covering, but just completely silence in most areas in America.
I'm very, like, even before like us getting kind of interested in this, I was always curious how this is going to do it, because again, like you were saying, League being the biggest shit, but you also put the biggest media franchise like skin on that. Like, I'm curious to see how this does.
Yeah, probably will.
Yeah, and also something that'd be kind of good for us is we're probably going to be one of the few kind of gaming websites, like general gaming podcasts, that are going to be talking about this game in a meaningful way.
Almost certainly. The only like, you know, there's obviously lots of people just play MOBAs or just play one MOBA, and they can make there's entire industries just based off of that. So, like, yeah, no one we follow will be paying attention.
Well, prediction is there are going to be some that play it when it first comes out and be like, man, this is them guy. I don't know. It's
but I'm sure there'll be others that get into MOBAs through this, especially like kids. You know?
100%.
So that'll be cool.
So, yeah. Obviously, you can tell we're excited for this game, and you can expect a lot more talk.
So, am I allowed to make Pokemon Unite the thumbnail, or would it be better if I just made Immortals the thumbnail? No, Pokemon Unite. We'll go for even though people we don't follow, they don't care about Pokemon. They might hate click on it and give us hate clicks, which I'll take your hate clicks.
We'll take any kind of click.
I was like, I'll like drink your tears and it'll be fine. You can hate all you want. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for this here podcast. Make sure you go over and give us a follow on twitch.tv/Nerds at Large Gaming, because that is where our Halloween stream's gonna be all day long on Saturday, October 31st, with lots of awesome guests. So excited about that. It's gonna be a good time.
Yep, we're gonna die.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna be a very bad imposter.
Fuck you. I didn't mean from Among Us. I just mean from being tired at the end.
Yeah, that's it. We're gonna die multiple times in games and then die in real life. I think you can only die once in real life, I think. I don't think you get another go.
Unless you're Jesus.
Yeah, unless you're Jesus, which I am.
Okay. You heard it here first.
and yep, I let 2020 be this way.
Fuck you.